what this game has been missing so far?
What's that?
We haven't gotten a Biggs and Wedge mode. You know what I'm saying?
The miasma got them early.
Oh no! We're gonna run by a pair of like tombstones. That's gonna be Biggs and Wedge. No, that's the Mushroom Forest, although it has resets as well. So we could do the Mushroom Forest again if we needed to.
Yeah, because the Mushroom Forest was the last one we did on year 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, let's go in and see.
Yeah, we can check it out, see what it's doing.
In any case, it's free equipment.
When I was a child, I once asked my mother, "Where did I come from?" She answered, "Why, we all sprouted from the..."
Yeah, no, we've got some. Let's go ahead. I got my Blizzard Ring equipped already. Just in case, I'll grab a striped... Oh, well, I didn't like this striped apple. Star Carrot. Okie Is my arm fuzzy? What am I?
Hero, you.
I'd personally like to think I am a chocobo.
That would be the plot twist of the century.
Ukes are just this universe's version of chocobos. I'd believe it if I didn't know it wasn't true.
Honestly, it's a little surprising that they don't utilize Chocobo for the caravan.
Yeah, they use the, like, form of ox.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is fair enough. But I'm shocked that they didn't do that just for the iconic Chocobo.
Chocobo, exactly.
Chocobo would have very well been established by now.
Oh yeah, by Crystal Chronicles? For sure.
Very well established.
They've been established from the start.
Well, from the third game anyway.
The second game.
I know they weren't in the first one, I can tell you that.
The second game you had to do you had to ride a black chocobo randomly.
I don't remember having to ride Chocobo the second game.
There was one part where it was like, you need to get to this place, and they were like, well, there's a mystical black chocobo that can fly. And you had to use that one. Unless I'm getting my games mixed up.
Was that in 4?
Was that in 4?
Because 2 was about the evil empire.
Yeah, it was about the Emperor trying to take over.
I mean, you very well could be right that Chocobo were into it, just not them. I know they were definitely, by the time 3 came out, because they had the Fat Chocobo system.
Yeah, 3 introduced the Fat Chocobo system. And I feel like for a Fat Chocobo system to exist, the normal Chocobo system had to exist by that point. I think 2 is the one that introduced Chocobo as a concept, but... And off the top of my head, I don't think 3 really used regular Chocobo. I mean, they were in there, but I don't think there was, like, a plot purpose to having them around, compared to, like, other games. Like, obviously they existed by that point, because on the DS version, the opening cutscenes, them wandering around on Chocobos. So,
yeah, in 3 they were just, they were animals.
Yeah, it was just the aesthetic of having Chocobos.
They were just creatures in the world. It's not like they were there for any reason. I like when Chocobo had, like, side quests attached to them. 7 was really good about that. Chocobo races.
Choco Billiam. It has been forever since I played 7 just by its...
Yes, the original 7 without it, yeah. Did you hear they released a... I don't know how long ago this was, but they released a full voice acting mod for the original 7.
Did they now?
Yeah, someone got a cast together and they voiced over all of the dialogue.
That's interesting. That'd be a really fun way to play through that again.
The mod basically has it so that when the text box shows up, it plays the audio clip.
That's charming.
I took a look at it, and honestly, the cast did a really good job.
Fair enough. Maybe when we get to it, we'll have to check it out.
Will save us all that.
All that
voice
talking.
There's a lot of dialogue. Yeah, I don't know how you wanted to go about playing 9. If you wanted to play 9, since you've never played 9 before, if you wanted to stick strictly vanilla.
Yeah. I wanted to play it as vanilla.
Yeah, I assume you wanted to do it vanilla. There are some mods that I would personally recommend, but if you wanted to do it vanilla, then I would stick with
I mean, I'd like to play it how it was originally intended. I like to do my first playthroughs of any game, like how it was originally intended. However, yeah, I was not paying attention. My apologies.
Thank you. The one thing that will probably throw you off about 9 specifically, and this is what the mod changes, is that despite the game normally running, especially if you play it on a modern console, at 60 FPS, the battles are strictly 30 FPS.
That's weird.
It has to do with the animations and how they affect the flow of battle.
Gotcha.
But the mod that I'm referring to changes that and restructures it to have the battles at 60 FPS. But if you're playing it in vanilla on a modern systems, it's very strange having the game run really smoothly, and then you get into battle and it just feels like the game's actively lagging.
Yeah, that's strange. We might enable that in that case.
Obviously, we can take a look at it to begin with.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. There is an extent to that, because, like, I know, like, the remastered port versions of them also include things like,
yeah, the remaster port includes a speed-up option, but it doesn't...
Yeah.
It literally just fast-forwards the game. So it's not going at 60 FPS, it's going at 200.
Right. But that's what I was getting at. Like,
That's
if it's included in a newer version of it, like, I know a lot of them do the, like, no encounter rate as well.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 all have that standard on modern ports.
Yeah, so...
No encounter, invincibility, fast forward, and instantly have all of your special meters max out.
Yeah, as long as it's
for
not...
Final Fantasy 7, it's your limit break.
Right. As long as it's not necessarily, like, game-breaking, I would be willing to use those kind of things, because, like, no encounter just means, hey, you know, I'm done grinding for right now, I just want to get to the next area. And sometimes that, depending on the area specifically, but then again, that kind of, then you lose what the original charm of the game was. So, like, people are like, remember this area from, like, specifically offhand, I'm recalling in Final Fantasy I, in the Temple of Earth, there is one hallway where every single step is a fucking hill Giga.
And they thought that idea was so great that in Final Fantasy II, they had trick doors.
Yeah.
Where every step was an encounter, and it put you in the center of the room.
Yeah.
I love that design. It was so great.
Yeah, and then you lose that when you can just turn encounters off. You know what I mean? So, part of me is like, maybe not.
You lose the experience when you're not frustrated.
Yeah.
Can't have you having too much fun. We had the boss.
Yeah, this is the boss.
Short dungeon. Glad he survived our original encounter and decided to come back.
Back with a vengeance. I'm going to assume he has new attacks.
at least does more damage.
Or at least, yeah, it does more damage. I will heal you as soon as I get a chance. I will heal you as soon as I get a chance.
I need to clear out the ads over there.
Yeah. Oh, he got up. Come on. There we go. Oh, okay, cool. He got a slow off on me.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll focus in on him now. Yeah, I would say if you're not used to it, which I'm used to it, so it doesn't fuck me, but if you're not used to it, having the game feel like it slows down during battles can be off-putting. But we'll start it in vanilla, and we can always mod it later if you want.
Fair. First session, vanilla. Just
I do think 9 is definitely worth playing. You know?
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't think there's necessarily a bad Final Fantasy.
I do.
I know you don't like...
Freeze the bat. Well, not bad.
I personally have not ran into a Final Fantasy yet that I would never play. 3 in itself has its charms, even though I would consider it the worst of the lot as well. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It has its own charms in its own
We have
way.
Mystic Quest and Final Fantasy Legends.
I was referring to the main Final Fantasy games. Like the numbered 1 through 15, or I guess we're on 16 now. 16's been released for a couple years.
Yeah, it really has.
It really released with literally no fanfare.
I don't know, if you were the part of the community at the time, it was pretty hyped up.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't hear a damn thing about it after it released.
There was a lot of people talking about it. It's just been several years since then, so you're not going to hear a lot about it now.
Yeah. I mean, I know I try and avoid spoilers for things, so when a game that I'm looking forward to does release, I try and avoid any comments about it.
The demo was insane.
Which I did play the demo, and I thought it was really good. And I was looking forward to 16, but considering I hadn't played through 15 yet, and I know they're not connected in any way, shape, or form, but I was like, I should really get around to playing this game I've owned for 10 plus years before I buy a new game and play it. It's from your mom. Mine's from my sister. New flower. Thank you for thinking of me, but I don't want to trouble you. So I went and bought a seed for a new flower. Should bloom in no time. I hope you like it. Thanks. I will send you an item, I think.
I heard talk that you were in Shella. You're such a long way from home. I'm very proud of how much you've grown, but I wonder if you miss us at all.
Nah.
And then she sent with that letter, meat. I'll take the meat.
Thanks for the meat. Isn't that the equivalent of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? And thank you for the fish.
You know, I don't think I've ever
You haven't either.
I've not interacted with Hitchhiker's Guide.
I have one reference, and it's to the movie that the actor who played Watson and was in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
I've seen clips from it, so I have a general idea. But I have not personally read or interacted with it at all either.
Yeah, I know it's like one of those, it is the top line literature, it is the major media.
Like sci-fi type thing.
It's like cornerstone media that everyone should have witnessed by now, but I've just not had the opportunity.
I'm sure, like, an audiobook or something has to exist on, like, YouTube for free.
Oh, I'm sure. Like I said, there's multiple movie renditions, book,
Right,
what have you.
Alright, we got one miasma. That wasn't too terrible.
Because it's a dungeon we already did.
The audiobook is all of 5 hours long.
Listen up. Our next job is... Oh, that's a good...
Oh, these are the thieves.
You want the best boss. Whoa, when did you get here?
You've been eavesdropping. I ain't been dropping no eaves, sir.
You're quite talented. What side are you on?
Vengeance? Murder? Not us. We don't do dirty work. We just steal.
That's right, killing is so cowardly, Kupo.
Never have I heard a Moogle.
Never have you heard of Moogle. Full stop.
Full stop.
Killing is cowardly.
No, you fool. All we care about is treasure. Most of the time, that means food.
Food is a treasure.
Quiet. At any rate, we don't take lives. After all, you can't make money killing people. Yeah, they have to live so that they can come back and you can steal from them again. If lives were worth something, I'd sell my own right away. Killing people to take their money leaves a bad aftertaste.
Evidently, this world does not have corporate jobs.
Don't know where you heard that, but tell them not to spread such ugly rumors. Well, thank you guys for not stealing from us. Again.
Again.
We have fire elements, so we'll have to get wind. Which is interesting, considering I'm pretty sure that one has fire. The, orc cave.
Huh.
So, I don't think we have any way of getting back to the skybox right now. Which is interesting. Unless, I guess technically, we could get wind across the sea and come back.
It's 200 more gil.
That's 200 more gil?
We don't have that.
And we'd have to find it. Which means we'd have to be able to get it in one of the dungeons and then leave with it. And we already know how well that was going for us.
Well, that is upsetting.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah, we have suddenly, year three looked at us and said, "Oh, you thought this was easy, did you? Just a fun little romp?" Ha! Ha! Ha!
At the point where we have to cross the river, we don't have the money.
Yeah, we had just done that dungeon, and we've done the one across there, and I believe we just finished that one as well. So this area is tapped out. The only dungeons we have available to us are going to be the Orc Cave, and we'd have to find some way to get back to the dungeon outside of Skybox.
Or do one of the ones.
Or we have to do one of the ones across the river.
Alrighty, well, might as well cross the river then.
Yeah. That is not bad. I would definitely say we'll try... We're not going back to the demon area yet.
No, we were having more luck in
Yeah.
the other area. Maybe we just needed
Team
to
cave or whatever it was.
try a new strategy there.
Yeah. We need to go down. Yeah, the port's in there. Right next to Mars Pass. Oop, there's Biggs.
But where's Sid?
You know what? Yeah, we haven't ran into a Sid either in this one. What's your favorite Sid?
What's your
I know
favorite Sid?
Personally, I really like Sid from Final Fantasy IV. Or... No, hold on. Is it 4 or 3?
3 is
Which one made him, like, with the big brown beard? I think that was 4.
That's 4. 3 was when he was their adoptive father.
This one? Yeah, it was from 4.
Yeah, it's 4.
I really like that one. I thought it was charming. 3's wasn't bad, but...
3's was interesting because, like I said, they made him into the entire party's adopted father.
Essentially. Like, if I remember right, he's actually, what, Rilka's? Is that her name? Her dad.
Well, he's all of their dad.
Exactly.
He's
not.
Them all. Yeah. Well, he's not blood related with any of them.
Yeah, exactly.
He found them on a cloud.
You're like, okay, you can have it. Oh.
Found him on the second Earth. Not a cloud.
But
3 was silly.
3 is extremely silly, but you'll finally get through it when we get to it.
Personally, my favorite Sid, if we're not counting 14, because he was really good in 14.
14 Sid was really good.
So you haven't gotten as far as I have into that.
Oh, he was really good before I stopped.
He gets better.
He gets even better. I really enjoyed him during the, well, unfortunately, the tower from 3. I can't remember what it's called. But that arc in 14...
Tower of the Gods!
Is that what it was called?
I don't know, probably.
It was the giant crystal tower.
Oh yeah, I think it was called the Crystal Tower.
It wasn't called Crystal Tower. It could have been called
that
Crystal
sounds
Tower.
very familiar. I'm pretty sure it's called the Crystal Tower.
Well, during that arc for Final Fantasy XIV, I thought he was really cool. But that was also the same arc where we were working with, what's-his-face, Nero.
Yeah.
And it was kind of bouncing off of both of them. So...
Oh, I wanted to save.
Yeah, that would have been good. I mean, we could just leave, I suppose. Yeah, we'll just say we're ready. And then we'll go back to the main map. Personally, I really like, 4. 4's Sid. Specifically because, and you'll have to forgive me, it's been a minute. Cecil's love interest, Rosa?
That
sounds right.
That sounds right enough for me to recognize who you're talking about.
For a portion of that game, as I recall, he plays Wingman, which I thought was always kind of funny, but it was basically the equivalent of, Cecil, don't you fuck this up. You better be taking care of Rosa now.
Obviously, in my opinion, Final Fantasy VII Sid is the most iconic rendition of Sid.
Yeah, Sid Highway.
And I enjoy him being like a fully fleshed out party member
rather than
for
just
most of the game.
For
a good portion of the game. I know he's like one of the last ones you get.
Yeah.
He's like one of the last ones you get.
In CD1, yeah.
Like, I can't think of another party member you get later unless you miss...
Vincent.
Yeah, I was about to say, unless you miss Vincent.
Well, I don't think you can get Vincent before you get Sid, can you? Because Vincent is the second time you go to the Golden Saucer. And you have Sid by the second time you go back. Because that's before Barrett's whole side quest. I think you get Sid before Barrett's side quest. Don't you? See, that just proves how long it's been since I played Sid.
You don't have Sid during Barrett's side quest. That's like right after you get Yuffie.
Well,
like
that also depends on how early you get Yuffie, because you can get Yuffie as soon as you leave Midgar.
Yeah, you can get Barrett's side quest.
No, because you have to go to the Golden Saucer, and then you make the return journey to the Golden
Yeah, but Vincent,
Well, no, because the first time you go to the Golden Saucer, you get thrown into the prison. Right? Aw, man. Aw, man. It's been too long. It has been too long. This is why we're doing this. We gotta get to Final Fantasy VII.
Welcome to Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, where we discuss Final Fantasy VII.
Hey, at least it's not like Dragon Age Veilguard, where we were exclusively talking about Final Fantasy games. What's your opinion on...
We're talking about Final Fantasy during Final Fantasy. Now,
yeah.
That's a new one.
What's your opinion on the Cid from Final Fantasy VIII? Also known as just Robin Williams.
Yeah, he's just Robin Williams.
It's my favorite running joke. Well, I don't need that. But I will.
We need an early cure. That's what
yeah, we definitely need to find an early cure so I can heal us. The one thing I'm gonna be disappointed about is if they ever do make a Final Fantasy VIII remake where they actually have to, like, model the, redesign the models to actually look like people rather than pixels.
There you go.
Yeah, there's my cure. Let me equip it. Unfortunately, I think they will shy further away from having him look like Robin Williams, whereas I'd rather them just double down. Personally.
I feel like in this world of HD realistic visuals, they would be scared of getting a cease and desist.
Yeah, exactly. That's a defense, not...
Where back on the PS1 they had the ambiguity.
Yeah, that's exactly
Even though it was clearly Robin Williams.
Well, that's the thing. I also cannot do anything with that character without immediately reading it. Like, even my internal monologue when he talks is a Robin Williams impression. Because he looks like Robin Williams from the Dead Poets Society. And so, like, in my head, I just imagine how he acted in that movie. And that's how my Final Fantasy VIII Cid works. And it works because Final Fantasy VIII Cid is a doofus. And also, might be the group dad as well. In a roundabout
Don't
way.
even get me started about... Well, we'll get
to Final Fantasy VIII when we get to
I'm not going to talk
Fantasy
about
VIII.
that right now because that's like
That's
the
major
reveal.
spoilers. Yeah.
That's like the reveal of the game. And we'll talk about that when we get there. But I have a lot to say about
I have a lot to say about Final Fantasy VIII as well. See, two of my friends desperately love Final Fantasy VIII, and they've tried getting me on board. As much as I appreciate the game, and I don't think it's bad. It's not my favorite, but I don't think it's bad. And now that I understand the junctioning system a little bit better, I can appreciate actually playing it, and I think it's fun to play. The plot, however, that's what gets me. And I think we discussed this a little bit in Dragon Age Veilguard. I can't remember exactly when, so I can't give a video for those of you who don't care about spoilers. But, you know, go watch Dragon Age Veilguard.
All of it.
Just all of it. It'll be in there eventually.
600 hours.
It was 60 hours, but I'm sure some of that will get video edited out. Probably. I mean, there were a few bosses where I died a whole bunch, so that was probably an hour cut out of there. But, yeah, before we move forward, we might as well deal with this hag. Which is what I'm going to assume this guy is.
Don't want to move forward and have him chase us.
And then run into even more. Yeah, we gotta be careful in these dungeons now. But Final Fantasy VIII's plot is where I kind of will lose. Like, at first, it's fine. Like, the first... let's see, that one was a 4 CD. I think the first 2 CDs? Maybe the first 3 CDs is actually perfectly fine. But the twist at the end and where they try taking the plot during the 4th CD, I think is where it loses me. And part of that's because of the forced romance between Squall and Renoa. I don't think it's necessarily forced. I just don't think at the time they took care of it the way that it needed to be taken care of.
The romance works, but it's entirely up to the player on whether it does.
Yes, and that's exactly...
the game did not account for the player not doing what the game expected to do. Because the game set Squall up as... and we'll get there when we get there, but it sets Squall up as your angsty Cloud type at the beginning of Final Fantasy VII. Cloud, that they decided was Cloud's personality for the longest time.
See, that's the thing.
And it's up to the player to decide that Squall
gets to have a personality.
And some players just don't, and so the romance does not actually function the way it's supposed to. And it's kind of the game's fault for not...
See, that's part of the reason why I want to see them give it like the same remake treatment that 7's getting. Personally, because I think if they had given it more time, if they had
to be on healing duty right now.
As soon as I'm unstoned. I think if it was able to to take the time and actually build the relationships like it needs to, that it would be perfectly fine. Like I'm saying, it's not that
the Final Fantasy VIII remake that gets to... damn.
Yep, damn it.
Oh, boy. Did not have Phoenix Stone.
I do, but it is in my inventory. Okay, this will be fun. You know what, actually...
Beat it! Run!
We're okay. See, sometimes... no, he's coming! Sometimes a tactical retreat is best.
Sometimes you're running directly into a dead end filled with enemies. Okay, let's wait here a sec.
Alright. Well, watch the screen while I go through my inventory. I'm pretty sure I have a Phoenix down.
Where our town's final hope is dangerous. Bless.
Welcome back.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Welcome back. Yeah, Final Fantasy VIII's plot could be viable. I think it just needs to be fleshed out, and unfortunately, I feel like 8 had a similar problem, just not as bad, that Final Fantasy 3 did. Where there's a good portion of the plot after the Timber mission that feels unguided. As much as there is a general thing that you're supposed to be doing, it just doesn't feel focused.
I'd like to see 8 give more chances for the cast to interact with each other. Because I think the cast has a lot of personality and a lot of big figures in the cast. They just don't have a lot of time in the plot to interact.
Yeah, there's never downtime in that game. There's only one part that I can think of where it actually has downtime. And that is at Fisherman's Horizon.
Which is the main thing from Final Fantasy VII Remake that I absolutely adore, is just how much the cast interacts with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Which you could tell from their personalities in the original game, and you got a lot of that interaction. But in the remake, every scene, they're bouncing off of each other.
Right.
And I adore it. Having Barrett interact with Aerith just casually is great.
Whatever you say, sweet baby girl. Yeah, you get a lot more personality in the remakes, which I appreciate. But I think that
he has always been there. They just have a lot more chances to show it.
Yeah, which, once again, like you were saying, I feel like that's one of the problems 8 had. Is 7 had a lot of personality. Even Cloud, at the beginning, wasn't just a stick in the mud. Yeah, he was more serious.
You see, I've always been disappointed with how they handled Cloud.
Technically, we could go back all the way to home.
We could finish this year if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But we're making decent progress here.
I think so. We definitely are having a better time in this dungeon than we did the first time.
Now that we've upgraded a little bit. Yeah.
There's a path here.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I barely saw it. If I'm the one with the map, I haven't swapped to it yet.
I'm like
still
I'm
on
the
the
one with the map, but I
Alright.
didn't see the map there.
It happens.
It shows it on the map, but I couldn't squeeze through, so I just thought it was like a
Like a one-way or something.
Yeah. And that the path connected somewhere else.
7 had a lot of personality, even for Cloud. Like, a lot of people like to give him that stick-in-the-mud type thing, but that's really only during the, like, first mission. He is kind of out of that mode by mid-Midgar. Like, specifically after the Aerith scene, he starts opening up drastically.
Yeah, that was the thing that I didn't understand, was that
why they made him so depressed
very much in
every other...
Yeah, in all external media about Final Fantasy VII, they always really, really dug into Cloud as the angsty,
Now,
dark,
I can
sulker,
understand...
and, like, the worst it got was during his...
In Advent Children, 100%.
Yeah.
Advent Children was terrible with that, because in, like, Dirge of Cerberus, the sequel, there's a few cutscenes in there where it shows Cloud in the game.
I know they thought it made him, it was kind of a, just a byproduct of the era that they were released in, because at that point in time it was like, oh, he's the bad boy, he's cool, he's, you know, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Well, here's the deal about that, right? Like, I don't remember exactly when Advent Children released, but was that around... I'm gonna get this wrong. Was that around 2006?
I was gonna say 2004.
2004?
That was my guess. 2006 also sounds right.
I'll need to look that up. But Advent Children is essentially a direct sequel to Final Fantasy VII in movie form. And if it came out when I'm thinking it came out, the bad boy, freaking dark gritty was all the rage with everything. That's one of the things that taints the PS3 to date. Is like around the era of the PS3.
I need heal.
Around the era of the PS3, everything was just dark and gritty.
That's what the style of the time.
Exactly. And so
every
that
character
movie
was dark and gritty, and every game was a military shooter.
So if that game was that movie was a product of the time, that's exactly why it happened.
Used the smart.
Because if you remember correctly, on the PS2 in Dirge of Cerberus, he had, which came out before Advent Children, Advent Children, I believe. That one's technically also a sequel to. In fact, I think Dirge of Cerberus technically in the timeline takes place before Advent Children does. I think Advent Children is the end of that timeline. Unless 7 remakes.
I was about to say, or was.
Or was at the time, unless 7... Ooh, we got Mithril!
A chunk of Mithril.
Okay, cool. So we could start farming for,
It's
our
definitely
best
the place we're supposed to be, evidently.
I'm gonna clean myself real quick. You got a little bit of flavor. Cloud wasn't so prominent in Dirge of Cerberus because that one was completely focused on Vincent dealing with Hojo. But you got a little bit of Cloud in that, and he was his happy-go-lucky self. That happens in the middle of Disc 2.
Yeah, honestly, Cloud's personality, and I haven't made it all the way through Rebirth yet, which, as of right now, the third game has not been released during recording, and I've made the joke several times, probably even in recording, that the third game is going to be called Reunion.
It better be called Reunion. That makes the most
called
sense.
Reunion, and that makes me a little bit sad. And I know it's not going to be called Reunion because the Crisis Core remake that takes place the prequel. It's called Reunion.
Did they call it Reunion?
Yeah.
Damn it.
So it doesn't make any sense
remake,
for them to make the
Rebirth.
third game Reunion. Though, again, I still say it's the only option that made sense.
I mean, that's what the end of that game is. It's the Reunion.
But I found out that Crisis Core
It technically
called,
has a subtitle.
Crisis Core Reunion.
Oh.
And with it being the remake prequel, they're not gonna make the third game Reunion. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, that... I wonder why they called Christ the prequel. Because I know generally what happens in Crisis 4, so... that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
But yeah,
I mean, the events is
Cloud...
what causes the reunion to happen in Final Fantasy VII.
I always felt like Cloud had a lot more
personality
than they bothered to show after 7.
Yeah,
and the
that's
remake
exactly
is definitely an improvement from Advent Children in regards to that.
Like, I can give it the benefit of the doubt in, like, Kingdom Hearts, because you don't know what part of the timeline that takes place in. So that Cloud could get the benefit of the doubt, only because...
But that Cloud was also very much Advent Children Cloud.
It was 100% Advent Children Cloud.
2006 was the time. 2002.
I'm honestly a little upset that we don't really get to see his storyline finished. Like, technically, you do, but you really don't. And then, he's not even in 3.
Not that many people were.
No. They really not, which is still a major critic I have. I've come to terms with 3 now, but I still have a lot of issues with it. On how they handled specific things. Like, I can understand...
Before we get into another battle, could I get a gold?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Don't worry about it, mate.
Let me interrupt what you're saying here so I can get a tad bit of health.
There's a couple things. Like, I understand, one, Kingdom Hearts 3 was in development hell forever. So it is a miracle it even released it. But, on the other hand, they had all that time, and it just felt so empty to me. It really felt... The only level off the top of my head that I can think of that felt like it should have been as empty as it was the Monster Incorporated world. That one, I could see being the way it was. And being perfectly fine. The other ones...
in the original Monsters Inc. movie, they didn't interact with a lot of people.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But, like, every other world in that had so much potential, and even with, like, some of the... Like, for instance, you do get to go back to Twilight Town during that. And you get to go visit Twilight Town, despite having so many NPCs in it. Felt...
And it's the first time in the series where there were that many NPCs.
Exactly.
It was full to the brim, but there was nothing to do.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I feel like there were a lot of loose ends that some of the other games have brought up that were not covered and were dropped after 2. And I was just very, very disappointed. Like I said, I've come around to it. It's fun enough to play.
Having half the Toy Story cast gone for no actual reason. I know it's like a legal thing, but...
There was a legal thing, and they made it plot relevant, but...
It's entirely... like, why even have Toy Story if 90% of the cast is just gone? You don't even get, like, the entire plot of that world is reuniting them, and you don't even get to see it happen.
Yeah.
So it just feels, again, it feels empty.
Yeah, it's just extremely disappointing.
Okay, so this is the door we were at.
And now we're on the opposite
side. Now we're on the opposite side, and all we have are these 3 crystals here.
Maybe you have to hit them in a specific order. I mean, in all fairness, that would only be a shortcut to a place we've already been.
Yeah, it just kind of confuses me. Why is
I hear you. It looked like I was supposed to cast Thunder on him, but that didn't work.
Right, so this is the area that one shot us previously, so we'll have to be careful.
Yep. But yeah, I was highly disappointed in 3. Like I said, I've come around to it, and I do feel like the ending itself,
Oh wait, this just leads to where we were?
Yeah. But we went up last time, we can try going down instead.
Not sure I fully understand the layout of this dungeon, but I'll roll with it.
I've come around to it. I do feel like the, wrap-up was really nice, although specifically Keyblade Graveyard as a world felt like padding. And I'm not going to go too much into that for spoiler reasons.
We'll get there.
Well, that's not going to be part of Final Fantasy Fridays, but...
We'll get there.
We'll get there. But I felt like the timey-wimey bullshit that happens during that section is just padding. We've been this way. Let's try going this way again. It just felt like a lot of padding, and without it, that ending would have been a lot smoother. That's just my personal opinion. But you know, that feels like a scene change, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Well, we got enemies. I'll count it as a good thing until proven otherwise. Yeah, my biggest gripe with Kingdom Hearts 3 is just how empty it felt. Like, despite that one being the first one that could add NPCs on the overworld and what have you, only a few worlds actually did that. Twilight Town being one, not Arendelle, Tangled's world. I can't remember exactly what it's called off the top of my head, but you know what I'm referring to. That one also. This feels like a gondola, but I don't know how to start it.
What if I drop the,
Drop it on it. No.
Oh.
We'll carry on.
Probably find some way to activate it.
Yeah, I can't remember what the world is called for Tangled, but that one felt really lively. In fact, that one was a decent one. I enjoyed playing that one. Although, another one of my major gripes with 3 is just, like, that the plot happens in the background. You don't actually directly deal with the plot. Which I think was really dumb. Which is why, like, Monsters, Inc., I thought was a really good world, because you directly interacted with the plot. It wasn't happening behind the scenes. It was happening to you. Which is what all the other games did, and then randomly in 3 they decided, you know what? I'm gonna make you climb a mountain 3 times. And the plot's just gonna happen behind the scenes while you're doing that. Like, the entire... Well, this time it worked. That's weird. Moving on. The entire plot of Frozen happens behind the scenes while Sora climbs the same stupid mountain 3 times. Like, that is probably, in my opinion, the worst world in 3. Because at least Port Royal was fun to wander around in and enjoy. Now, as far as literally having no purpose, that one would go to Port Royal. But, at least it was fun to explore and kind of just hang out in. Which I cannot say the same for the Frozen level. Because Arendelle was empty, it was a mountainside 3 times, which really got on my nerves, if you couldn't tell. And then, everything was happening in the background. Give me a second, Delia. Ring of Light. Coolio. Alright, that looks like everything down here. Yeah, it looks like you can go down further this way on my map, but that might be another gondola that we have to descend in. So maybe...
I was about to say, how do we go back up?
Yeah, maybe we just did not manage to trigger the last one properly. Oh, that's good. Haha, I trapped him. You've obtained a Thunderball.
Wow. Who knew you could catch lightning in a bottle?
That'd be pretty cool. I do personally really enjoy the static lamp, although it is funky when you actually like hold on to it, because obviously you're being electrocuted by it. But I really actually do enjoy those. More so than lava lamps.
Green beret.
Can we go up? No, that's Cliff. Okay. Alright, nothing else up here. That's another gondola down. This wasn't the one we were just at, was it?
I think it is.
Is it? No, because the other one had the pot. I think this is a separate one. Though it looks just as empty. Oh, what do we got over here? That goes to the... Oh, well. We made it back to the beginning. Ha. Let's go left.
Well, it doesn't make any sense, but...
I don't remember going up a screen, but I might have been distracted with talking about the Final Fantasy VIII stuff at the time.
It was just the crystals.
Is there two spots like that? Because this gate also has a pot next to it, and the other one didn't. It's also at a different angle, so this is a different gate entirely. Yeah, there's monsters behind it. In fact, this is where we died when we came here the first time, was this specific spot. So I would suggest we keep over this way, because if I remember correctly, there's like 2 or 3 monsters!
Yeah, there's one dying, buddy.
There's 2 or 3 monsters that kept getting us when we walked too far over, and we just got piled in. Missed. There we go. Yeah. I don't know exactly what happened to us the first time, but...
Definitely did a lot better this time.
We definitely did a lot better this time. Though not done yet, so...
Ultra shield.
Oh!
It's not helpful to us at all, but... Shields are only useful to
Or
combat.
Selkie. Okay. I was gonna say, is it the Selkies who can use them?
Selkies are belts.
Are belts. Damn it, it's not Lullafels. The Lilties, they only can use gloves.
Yeah, they use gloves.
And I use helmets.
Yep.
Yeah, opening that gate has to be smacking these in a specific order. I almost guarantee it. I just don't know what that order is. It's also almost impossible to not hit all... Unless it's hit all of them at the same time, in which in that case, it's gonna be stupid. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I don't know. Unless it's a situation where we both need to double up using Thunder, so that we get off of Thundara. They've done stuff like that in the past with Fire. But it wasn't crucial for progressing.
Figure out where the end of this dungeon is.
Agreed, we do need to figure out where the boss is.
Where our controllers are gonna die again.
It has already been 2 hours. Wow. Right, this was dead.
Yeah, no, I don't get it. Put the stone down on that.
That teleports us out of the dungeon.
That's in fact what that does. Alright.
Good to know.
Well,
Just give us a save while we're out here.
this is as good as any to reconvene with our fresh pair of eyes.
It really did reset the dungeon, huh?
Is strong.
Yeah, it sure did.
We will not be able to finish this
Yeah.
with the...
We'll reconvene with a fresh pair of eyes. At least we know we can handle this dungeon now.
Yeah, which was the problem we were running into previously. We can definitely handle it, although it is a shame that reset. Oh well.
At least we know what teleport does now.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, at least we've tested out the waters now.
Now we know if we need to get out of a dungeon.
We can, as long as we can reach a crystal element swapper.
Hotspot
A hot spot. Yeah, we'll go with that.
is the official name for that.